Okay, so here I am at the trailhead. It's about 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, February 25th. It's a Saturday. I'm getting ready to head out on the trail. Do a little overnighter here in the Scotts Gulf, Bridgestone, Firestone, Wilderness Management area. Okay, so here we are. Let me specify what I mean by we. The we is you, the person watching this video right now. Friend, family member, complete stranger, YouTuber, long lost buddy I haven't seen in a while, and myself. Yeah, everybody's bailed on me for this trip, and here I am at one of my favorite places to hike, Conversion Falls. I'm about an hour in on the trail, approximately 2 miles. There's a lot of firsts in this trip. It's going to be my first overnighter in this particular area. It's going to be my first overnighter in my new Hennessy hammock, thanks to my wonderful girlfriend. And it's also going to be, I was shocked about this one, my first solo trip. Well, overnight solo. So I'm excited. I'm a little nervous. I'm pretty cold. Don't let this sunshine fool you. It's a beautiful day, but it's chilly. It's expected to get down to a low of about 27 tonight is the estimate. So yeah, my gear's really going to be tested. I did come really prepared. My pack's way heavier than what I would normally carry. The wind's picking up a bit, as I'm sure you can hear, so I'm just going to take a little break, make sure I don't get too hot, sweaty, and wet, and we'll continue this when the wind dies down. Hey everybody, this is the view from the top of Big Laurel Falls. I'm sure it's difficult to judge distance for you watching this right now from this vantage point, but in a few moments I'm going to be way down there and I'll show you looking back up this way towards the falls. Now from a distance, Big Laurel Falls. That dark area in there, it's a big cave. I'm going to show you that too if it's not too wet. I'm about halfway down the slope. The view up close to Big Laurel Falls. Okay, pop quiz. Can you name that? No. It's not a random paint spot. That, my friends, is an organism known as a lichen. They really fascinate me because they grow on this limestone and they eat it. That's right, they eat rocks. What's cool about them is they can be tens of thousands of years old. Slowly, surely dissolving the minerals in the rocks. Pretty cool. a lot of you all might not be hikers or backpackers or campers, so I thought, maybe I can give some tips. So I stopped here for lunch because I was getting a little warm. It is 11 a.m., which means I need to give a little shout out to Go Big Blue. They're at this moment my #1 ranked Wildcats, tipping off against the Vanderbilt Commodores. It's February 25th. So we'll see how that goes. I won't know till tomorrow. Anyway, back to the tips. #1, and at least in my opinion, most important tip for staying comfortable when hiking and traveling in the backcountry is layering. You need to layer your clothes. Multiple layers. So, it's okay to be cold on the trail on a cold day. It is not okay to be hot. Because what happens when you get hot, you sweat and you get wet. And if you get wet, you get cold and you can't ever get warm again. So, you're hiking, you're a fleece, some kind of base layer. I would caution against the thermals, save those for the evening. You start to feel yourself get warm, start shedding layers like I've done right now. You can see, well, maybe you can't. Let me try to focus that there. I've got goosebumps. I'm cold right now, but that's okay because I'm about to put on that 40 or 50 pound pack and head down the trail again. So don't worry about getting cold. It's okay. So first, amateur, semi-pro tip. Okay, lunchtime is over. Did I say, I don't think I said before, this is the halfway point. I just got the holy Haleakala scared out of me. The wind's picked up a bit. Can you see the trees up there shaking and moving? Okay, here's the scoop. Moments ago, I was standing right there. A wind kicked up, and a widowmaker, which if you don't know what a widowmaker is, it's an old dead limb at the heights of those trees, fell and crashed not 25 feet away from me. That's the first time I've ever had an experience like that, and I'm pretty sure I almost jumped out of my boots. Not cool. So, lesson learned. I will, instead of panning around so much, definitely pay attention to what's going on above my head. Look at that. Spectacular. So, it's about noon now. Probably 66% of the way to where I plan on spending the night. And I finally met some people on the trail. A member of Hammock Forums. How cool is that? So I'm sure I'll meet up with them once we get down to the falls. So maybe I'll have some company tonight after all. That'd be pretty cool. Here we are. The magnificent Virgin Falls. If you haven't seen this before, it's because you're not watching my videos. She is raging today. And here's the view from the top of the falls. Okay, so here we are. And by we, I mean you watching and myself. Finally found a place that I'm going to attempt to pitch my new Hennessy hammock. I was going to try to camp up there on top of the falls, but somebody beat me to it. So instead I'm settling for this campsite. It's now about 1:45 Central Time. I have been here hour and a half, and most of that time has been spent walking around scouting for the appropriate size trees to hang from. I think that I have found them. I'm going to see if I can make it work. Here we are with a pitched hammock. in a nearly empty pack. And dinner is ready to go really soon. It's about 3:15. I'm getting ready to put on some warmer clothes because the wind is very chilly. And we'll see how that goes. I'm afraid I'm going to get a little cold this evening. I've already had my neighbors who are up on top of the hill there come down and say hello. I thought I'd give you a little tour of the hammock here. What you'll see here is I have a blue foam pad, a little cheapy from Walmart, recommended by Hammock Forums. Then, beneath that, I have my Thermarest. It's my regular ground pad. On top of that, I have my fleece blanket, just a little cheapy Coleman. Then I'll lay on top of that here and then sleep with this wonderful, awesome Monk Bell Super Stretch number 3 that my beautiful girlfriend got me for my birthday a few years ago. Yeah, so that's the hammock. You see that? What is it, you ask? Well, that's the sunlight line, which means the sun that has set in that direction, there will be no more sunshine here on the campsite. Darkness will descend soon. And I don't even know what time it is. It's 4:41 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's still early. I got my bag with the rain cover on, ready for night mode. Probably going to have some frost. This trip, as with any camping trip, there's always something always that doesn't go as expected, or you didn't plan for, or something that you forgot. Well, in this case, it's the wind. I am unable to cook my hot food because my little stove right there is a little too susceptible to this wind. Now, I have a windscreen. I even attempted to bridge rocks around it to create a little safe shelter for it, but it keeps changing direction from east to west and then from the south. So I don't have much choice except to eat what dry food I have. Oh, I had a fruit cup. Those are great. Drinking that sugary syrup to give me some calories and warmth for the night. But I digress. What I am saying is I'm going to go to bed without any hot food, without any hot chocolate, and I might have to go without coffee in the morning. I think what I may do is just go ahead and turn in for the evening and try to get a little bit of sleep, and then as I'm sure I will eventually wake up at some point in the night, nature calls. See if that wind's died down. I might just attempt to, cook a late, dark supper. Okay, coming at you with some live action from the hammock. Yeet. Sorry, I couldn't stop myself. I'm not even sure if you can see me or not, but I'm in the hammock, covered up, insulated. I slept for a couple of hours. Let's see. It's 10 till 9. I thought, oh yeah, wake up, eat some hot food. But no. The wind's still pretty gusty, so there's no cooking on the stove. For now, at least. So I'm just hunkered down. I'm not really getting cold, but I am having some condensation issues. At one point, when I first woke up, my hands were very wet, as was, like my neck area, and I'm sure the whole rest of my body. Wasn't sweat, it's just condensation from the warm vapor hitting the cold, yada yada yada. I feel like explaining physics. Maybe I'll get something warm to eat at some point tonight. Good morning. I'm up. Been awake for a little while. It's pretty cold. I didn't want to get up. So I got the coffee on now. Thankfully, the wind has died enough to allow me to use my stove. Let me get some coffee. We'll talk some more. Okay. I've had a cup of coffee now. A little bit more awake. Chilling in the hammock in the sunshine on a beautiful cold morning. It's a little bit before 8 now. I'll take a stab at the temperature. It's probably about 34 or 5 degrees. I'm not really sure. I know it got very cold last night. I wanted to show you the frost and stuff that was on my tarp, which is now folded back this morning, but it was too cold. I didn't want to get out of my sleeping bag. So I was awake and just waiting for the sunshine to hit me, my gear over that rise. As far as the night went, I slept pretty well when I actually slept. It came in short spurts, 2 and 4 hour intervals. I guess I got in the bed about 6 o'clock finally. It was dark, and the reason I kept waking up is because of cold spots. Hammocks are not really the best thing to have when it's cold and windy, and the windy part I hadn't really anticipated or prepared for because it wasn't in the forecast. I like the hammock. It's pretty comfortable, but it's not my thing. I wouldn't recommend it for cold weather camping unless you have one of those fancy $300 down underquilts, which I don't have. So next time if it's so cold, I will definitely be on the ground in a tent so my bottom side is insulated from the wind. It was comfortable with the exception of, because of the cold weather, the heat trapped in my bag from body heat then on the underside condensed against the pad, and I had some moisture. As we speak, my back is a little damp, which is not a big problem because now it's above freezing, but for a much colder day, that could definitely be problematic. So I just wanted to give you a little tour of the kitchen here. This is my MSR Titan titanium cook set here. It's just primarily used for boiling water. And then underneath, I have my DIY alcohol stove, which is made from a Budweiser can. I don't think I've showed this on my channel before. If I haven't, shame on me. I'll show you that sometime. My little handmade windscreen, which last night I tried to supplement with that big flat rock that all my stuff's on there. Didn't work out so well. It's kind of a failure. That is the fuel that I use here. Heat, denatured alcohol, works very well. Burns pretty consistently. And here's the kitchen. Before you go all, man, this guy's serious about his coffee. This is just a coffee can, but yes, I am serious about my coffee. That holds all my food and stuff in there. It's just my poor man's food container. It's the right size for a single person. Prevents food and items getting crushed in my backpack once I load it down. This is actually my coffee, just some freeze-dried, instant, just to add hot water stuff. Pot holder. Now these, I like my coffee with cream and sugar, so I bring the little half and half things with me. You can see the sugar packets there. Yes, I'm gonna pack all this out with me, don't worry. This is my new insulated mug because I forgot my Sierra Cup in Kentucky. So I went and bought a new one, and I really like that with the insulated sides. This is Backpacker's Pantry Santa Fe rice with chicken that was supposed to be for supper last night, but as previously stated, I didn't get to cook that because of the wind. Didn't cooperate, and I wasn't going to take the chance of starting a fire or having an accident or wasting fuel, so I might give that a try today for lunch. Yeah, so that's the kitchen. That's my gear. Let me know what you use. You see something that I forgot, or maybe some solution that you have that's better than mine, please let me know. Alright, let me give you a few first impressions. First off, hammock camping first impressions. It's awesome. One of the coolest things about it, in my opinion, is I've always got a nice, warm, dry, comfy place to sit at the right height, which is great, man. It's better than sitting on a rock. It's better than sitting on my camp pad on a rock on the ground. You know, getting up and getting down is so much easier. I really like that. We got all kinds of first. First solo. Really enjoyed it. It can get a little boring if you're not doing tasks like processing wood for a fire, which I opted not to do because of the wind last night. I just by myself, I didn't want the responsibility of manning the fire constantly and preventing, flames and coals and embers from blowing off. And I guess the final first is Virgin Falls is an overnighter. It's awesome. This area is usually pretty popular with people, but I think the cold weather last night made a lot of people chicken out, so it's been extremely peaceful. My neighbors that are up on the top of that ridge over there, with the exception of seeing the smoke from their fire, there's 3 of them, 3 dudes. I haven't heard them at all. I am breaking camp. It's about 10:30. I've been incredibly lazy this morning. I've just been sitting in my hammock chair, hanging a lot of the clothes I wore in the night out to dry because they all got wet. I've now, packed up all my sleep system with the exception of the hammock. I'm still using that as a chair. Changed out of my night gear, the long underwear and thick socks, into my hiking gear, just a single layer for the moment because that sunshine feels fantastic. My pack, as you can see back there in the back, is already partially loaded. I just have a few more things to tuck away. The kitchen primarily, and then I'll be ready to hit the trail. Talked to some people this morning who I didn't know were here, had apparently got here before myself last night and camped beyond where I am, and they were on their way back through. There's a trail that leads this way that takes me to Sheep's Cave. I've never been that way, so that's the way I'm going home. I'm on the edge of this large valley. You can probably see lots of boulders. I can actually see, maybe you can, a waterfall right there. So it doesn't look like the trail is going to take me up that way. But hey, there's another fall back here I didn't know about. Cool. This is definitely cave territory. It looks like this trail is taking me up towards that waterfall after all. Maybe that's Sheep's Cave. As you can see right there in front of me, this trail's been pretty unforgiving for the last quarter mile. So I'm stopping to gather my breath and drink some water. Wow. That is incredible. You probably can't see real well down in this shadow. The cave extends all the way down there. That's probably a 75 or 100-foot drop down there. I'm back at Big Laurel Falls, which is the halfway point of this hike. I am starving. I'm really hungry. I pushed through and didn't take any breaks till I got to here, so I can sit down and eat. I can't stop thinking about a McDonald's cheeseburger. I think that's because I didn't eat my real hearty supper last night, as previously discussed with you. So here I am, gonna take a break, eat some lunch, the rest of my dry stuff in another fruit cup, and then I'll be on my way out of here. Alright, so here I am taking what is should be my last break of the day before I hit the trailhead. I should be about a mile away from the parking lot. It's been a really good trip. I've been very fatigued because I didn't eat my good meal last night. But aside from that, like, the weather has been outstanding. Sunshine is nice and warm. There's a cool breeze. I really couldn't ask for much better, except, that I was able to cook. But I'll solve that problem. That won't happen again. So I'm here in the midst of a batch of rhododendron growth. I really enjoy these. Well, here I am. I'm back at my car. Had a good trip. Getting ready to make a phone call and check in so my emergency contact knows that I'm safe. Don't ever go in the woods without somebody knowing where you are and what time to call for help if they don't hear from you. So, I got about a 45-minute drive till I get home. I'm going to stop and get a Coke and a cheeseburger. I'm pretty hungry. Great trip. Thanks for going with me.